I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Chair Pulitz,
Present.
Vice Chair Norvell,
Here.
Treasurer Rogers,
Here.
Member Flint,
Here.
Member Horton, Member Hutter,
Here.
Member Golden. A quorum is present.
Thank you. I think that I'd like to ask Michaela to do the pledge tonight.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes from our last meeting was posted and available for all of us to review. And I'd like to ask, unless there's any public comment on this, I'd like to go ahead and ask for members to motion that we propose we accept the minutes. All right, Harlow
Second.
moved. All right, Harlow second. Michaela moved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Okay, minutes have been approved. Now, the chairman reserves the right to modify the agenda in order to most effectively process the agenda items. Items may be taken out of order. Items may be combined for consideration by the authority. Items may be pulled or removed from the agenda at any time. For public comment, members of the public who wish to address the airport authority may speak on agendized and non-agendized matters related to the airport. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person or topic. If your item requires extended discussion, please request the chairman to calendar the matter for a future airport authority meeting. Is there a public comment at this point? Okay, come on forward.
Thank you, Chair. Denny French, Carson City, Nevada. I just want to appreciate the fact that the airport is there. I am concerned about a situation that I had, but the main thing is that as you expand and consider your growth and what you're going to put around it, I've been doing more reading about what's been suggested by the FAA as far as structures and what they're built of and what's allowed to be in them as far as any certain amount and such. And I thought that was very interesting. I watch a show called Mayday, and some of the forensic on different accidents, whether they're a train, plane, bus, or such, is very interesting. And the findings that those departments and agencies come up with are interesting, and I would recommend you all a chance to look at it. It's very interesting. But tonight I am interested in the part about the restaurant possibility. I know there's a new restaurant or a cafe in the legislative building, and I know at the Bryan building. And I think having a company come in there at the airport might generate not only more understanding of the location and appreciation for it, but a nice place to dine and to have that facility when you come in from a flight and such. So I don't know where it is on here as far as what the considerations are, but I appreciate the fact that it's being considered. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And the public may provide public comments in advance of a meeting by written submission to the following email, manager@flycarsoncity.com, for inclusion in the reference in the minutes of the meeting. Your public comments may include all your full name, address, and be submitted via email by not later than 5 p.m. the day before the meeting. The Carson City Airport values your input. Members of the public who wish to provide live public comment may do so during the designated public comment periods indicated on the agenda in person. Okay, next on the agenda is the airport engineer's report, and this month the airport engineer does not have a report, so we're going to move for that to be updated again next month. Public hearings. We only have one public hearing this evening. It's for discussion and possible action, review and approve the 2025-2026 preliminary budget for submission to the Nevada Department of Taxation. And staff summary from Airport Manager Corey Jenkins, please.
Okay, so this is the second review of the fiscal year 25-26 preliminary budget. NRS statutes require that a preliminary budget must be approved and submitted to the Nevada Department of Taxation no later than April 15th, 2025. We have made no changes from the last meeting when we first reviewed this. I did have a concern about the federal funds and how they were appearing on the budget. I reviewed it and everything's correct. So there's not much to go over. Does anyone have any questions about the budget? And John, you may have some things to say.
Just a friendly reminder to the board that we will see this one more time in May, where we will approve a final budget. So this is just a preliminary budget. I also would like to mention that a reminder to the board that the budget includes a 5% pay increase for our staff. And then also mention that the net profit number at the bottom of the budget is not a cash number. That's, includes the net present value of the projected new lease that we're going to accomplish next fiscal year. So on a cash basis, the budget does project that we will spend approximately $200,000 of our own money to accomplish all of the pavement maintenance projects that we have been talking about over the years. So on a cash basis, we'll be drawing down our cash by $200,000, which we clearly can afford. But on a non-cash basis, the numbers what you see on the budget.
Thank you, John. Any comments from the public? Any comments from the board?
I just had one quick clarification or question for John. I noted that in the going forward, there's an auditing line for, I think it's about $27,000. That was zero in the year previous. Is there new activity around auditing that was just not existing in the past, or is it biennially or?
Good catch. No, we pay for an audit every single year. This year's number was $27,000, or last fiscal year's number was $27,000. This year will probably be similar, but then next year we're almost certain to hit the threshold where we're going to need what they call a single audit, which adds approximately $10,000 to our auditing costs.
And just to clarify, because I may have said in the budget, I meant to say that in this year, 24-25 compared to 23-24.
Yeah, I think that's just
That's what I
that.
meant.
I think that's just that the bill for the audit hadn't come in yet, and I neglected
Okay.
to project that in there.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
There is a number for last year under the audit. Projected actual of 28,000.
Correct. And I was just looking at prior year being I'm good.
We do expect an increase in the audit because we expect a single audit, which is because we've exceeded a certain threshold of federal funding. So we do expect that to be higher than last year because of that.
Great.
And just for reference, the thresholds around, if we spend around, it changes every year, but a little bit, but around $750,000 in federal money, if we spend that, then the single audit kicks in.
Any other questions or comments? If not, can I call on a member to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the FY 25-26 preliminary budget and direct staff to submit to the Nevada Department of Taxation.
Thank you, Harlow. Any additional discussion?
I'll second
Not?
it.
Yeah,
'cause I think
we have
we
a
need that.
second.
Yep.
Mr. Hutter has a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, discussion's closed. That's our only voting item. We're going to move on now to the airport manager's report.
All right, so Tim Poulos and I and Steve Takis went down to Phoenix, Arizona to have a meeting with the FAA to review the Carson Tahoe executive through the fence permit that we previously approved. This presentation was really well received by the FAA, and we did not receive any negative feedback. The permit itself has not yet been fully reviewed by the FAA. They've submitted it for a compliance review, and we requested a letter of non-objection so that we're able to be compliant with the FAA compliance manual that says we have to run it by the FAA. They did not give us a timeline as to when to expect to get a written response from them. They kind of said they didn't expect it to take too long, but I think that's in their timelines, which is usually a very long time. I'm gonna follow up with them later this month to just kind of see if they have an update for us. Typically, they require 45 or 90-day notices for things, so that's kind of what I'm expecting, 45 to 90 days. But there's really no indication, and this permit is very abnormal, so whoever's reviewing it is probably going to have to put a lot of effort into it because it's non-standard across the industry. So it all looks very promising at this point, though. It's a very good meeting. I've done some traveling, as I mentioned in the last meeting, that I'll be doing a lot of. I went on vacation, which was awesome. But also we went to Phoenix, and next week I'll be going to Washington, D.C. for AAAE Government Issues Conference. Hopefully this will give us a better understanding of what to expect with all of the drama going on with the federal government and funding. I think we're going to be in good shape. Our funds are for infrastructure and for airports, and so I don't think we're at risk, but this meeting will help us understand what we're looking at. I'll also be attending the NVAA conference that's here in Reno, and I've been asked to speak on a panel about hangar development. This panel will consist of representatives from all sides of hangar development, and I'll be representing kind of an airport's perspective of hangar development. We have benefited from matched grant funds from the Nevada Technical Advisory Committee thanks to efforts of the NVAA, and we are in line to receive another grant match from NATAC, not NVAA, when the Offset PAPI project is complete. I've also been appointed as the interim secretary for NVAA, and I've been appointed the vice chair of NATAC. I believe my involvement with these organizations will be really good for the airport and will also be really good for the state. I've been working with developers for additional hangar development. There's multiple developers that I've been talking to over the years that are all kind of seeming like they might be ready to do something. I really pushed Carson Tahoe executive to execute the permit that we approved, so we were able to clearly define the location of those through-the-fence access points. 'Cause we may see proposals for development east of Bravo, and by clearly defining those access points will help us move forward. That's always been a big problem with development of that land east of Bravo, and now we're able to kind of hopefully make something happen over there. There's also interest in the Triangle area. Let's see. There was a pretty major incident on the airport this month. There was construction materials stolen from a hangar development site. After a thorough review, we've worked with the general contractor and who overhauled their access control policy. We've removed the majority of their access control cards that they've had, and we will only be assigning cards to supervisors or business owners. So there'll only be a few cards issued. That should help prevent that sort of thing in the future. The sheriff hasn't been notified, and there is an ongoing investigation. We've done as much due diligence as we can. We've looked at all of the video footage to see if there was any trucks leaving the airport that clearly had the stolen materials in the back, and we didn't find anything. But there is a lot more the sheriff's office was able to look into. So hopefully they're able to figure out who did that. We have the fuel numbers and the airport operations numbers. They're trending the same as it has been, where we are having higher fuel sales but lower airport operations numbers. Again, indicating we are getting more charter and corporate aircraft at the airport. And there's detailed charts of the ADSB report attached. And that's all that I have.
Thanks, Corey. Any questions for our airport manager? Yes, John?
What's the status of the notice for bid or the bidding process for the parcel on College Parkway?
So it's been posted according to the NRS requirements, and we should expect to receive bids by April 10th, and we'll be able to open them at the meeting in April. So that's on track. That is, of course, contingent on the lease north of that location being amended by the city, and that is on the city's agenda tomorrow morning. So that should be well done and before we accept those bids. So that won't be something we'll have to worry about as long as that gets approved with no objections tomorrow morning.
Anybody else? Mr. Hutter?
Corey, I know this is not a piece of airport infrastructure. It's Michael's, but the camera atop the fuel island. I seem to recall checking it to see what was going on the ground snow-wise a month or two ago, and noted that it wasn't going around at that time. And your mention of things that could have spotted interesting activity at a hangar development site might have been helped by that. Do you know if that is been fixed or if that is still static in its rotation? Or
All that I know about it is it did not pick up any video footage of this incident.
Gotcha.
They actually had security cameras on the site as well, and they also did not capture anything.
Gotcha.
More than likely, the individuals were aware of the locations of those cameras. So that's one of the reasons we took the actions on the access cards of the subcontractors of the project.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. If there's nothing else, we'll go to our treasurer's report. John Rogers.
You have the numbers in front of you. We are, as in previous years, we're on track relative to our budget, and there's nothing extraordinary to report.
Okay. Our legal counsel is not with us this month for the meeting. He's out of town, so that completes all of our reports. Any public comments? Any questions or comments from the board members? Okay, well, we will be getting agenda items for the next regular meeting on a regular schedule. It'll be posted as normal, and with that, I call this meeting adjourned.